Have you spent your whole life feeling like you're just a little too much? Too emotional, too dramatic, too sensitive? Well, let's get into it because I'm going to tell you something that might just change everything. The story you've been telling yourself, it's probably completely wrong.
Yeah, I bet these phrases hit at home. Toughen up. Don't be so sensitive. You're overreacting. They're the kind of things people say over and over until you start to actually believe them. Maybe you've even spent years apologizing for your own feelings, right? For crying during a movie or for just feeling the world so deeply. But just for a second, I want you to consider a new idea. What if all those things you've been told are weaknesses aren't weaknesses at all? What if they're just misunderstood? Seriously, what if there's absolutely nothing wrong with you? So let's just throw out the old labels, okay? Forget highly sensitive. Forget overly emotional. Let's try on a new identity, the super sensor. See how that feels? This isn't about fixing a problem anymore. This is about finally realizing you're operating a high-performance system. It's a total game changer. And here's the most crucial part to get. This isn't just some personality quirk you're supposed to get over. Nope. Decades of research, pioneered by brilliant psychologists like Dr. Elaine Aron, have shown that this is rooted in your biology. It's in the actual hardware of your brain. You are literally wired differently than about 80% of the population.
Here's the best way I've heard it explained. Think of most brains as recording the world in a standard 720p resolution. It works, right? It's efficient, gets the job done, and it filters out a ton of what it considers background noise. But your brain? Oh, your brain is recording in glorious, stunning 8K. It's capturing everything, every tiny detail, every subtle shift in the mood of a room, every single nuance. And that 8K processing power, it's not just a cute metaphor. It actually comes from 3 specific, very real biological differences in your brain. And we are not going to call them flaws, no way. From now on, let's call them what they really are: upgrades. These 3 upgrades are the secret sauce. They're the key to understanding why you experience the entire world with such intensity. So let's break them down one by one. A low filter, something we'll call hyperempathy, and a mind-blowing capacity for deep analysis. Okay, first up is something neuroscientists call low-latent inhibition. That's a mouthful, but all it really means is that your brain's spam filter is turned way, way down. Most people's brains are designed to ignore 99% of what's coming at them, just to save energy. Yours treats almost everything as potentially important. Now, this is why you can get so overwhelmed in a crowded mall, for sure, but it's also why you notice the tiny, brilliant details and creative solutions that everyone else just walks right past. Upgrade number 2 has to do with your mirror neurons. These are the empathy centers of your brain. And yours? They're basically supercharged. This means you don't just see that your friend is sad and think, oh, that's a bummer. No, you physically feel their sadness, almost like it's your own. Your brain is literally simulating their emotional state inside of you. So no, you're not imagining it. You're basically an emotional sponge.
And that leads us to the biggest and most misunderstood feature of all: depth of processing. Sound familiar? Have you ever been told you overthink everything? Or maybe you feel like you're slow to make a decision? Well, here's the truth. You're not slow, you're thorough. While other people are just reacting on impulse, your brain is running this incredibly complex simulation, connecting what's happening right now to all your past experiences and even predicting dozens of future possibilities. That's not a bug, my friend. That is some serious high-level computation.
So, okay, we've got these incredible upgrades, but if they can make modern life feel like a sensory assault course, why would evolution even keep them around? Well, the answer is what transforms this from a personal struggle into an essential, honest-to-goodness evolutionary superpower.
I mean, that's the big question, right? If being a super sensor was just a disadvantage, you'd think natural selection would have weeded this trait out thousands of years ago. But it didn't. It persisted in about 20% of the population for a very, very important reason. The tribe needs you.
Just think about our ancient ancestors, right? Every tribe needed its warriors, the bold, risk-taking majority. They were essential for hunting and for fighting. But can you imagine a tribe of only warriors? It'd be a disaster. They'd rush into every danger without a second thought. So, the tribe also needed its royal advisors, and that's you, the cautious, the observant, the deep processing individuals. You were the one who noticed that subtle shift in the wind that meant a storm was coming. You're the one who sensed that the neighboring tribe's offer of peace felt off. You are the one who saw the long-term consequences of a decision everyone else wanted to rush into. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw. It has always been a highly sophisticated early warning system for the entire group. All right, so you've got this high-performance hardware. But like any piece of advanced tech, it comes with a pretty specific user manual. And learning how to operate your own system, well, that's the key to not just surviving, but actually thriving.
So, what's the cost of seeing the world in 8K? Well, it takes up a whole lot more processing power. When you suddenly shut down, or get irritable, or feel this desperate need to escape to a quiet, dark room, that is not you being dramatic. That's just your system's RAM being 100% full. You've overheated. You just need a reboot. It's a technical issue, not a character flaw.
Science actually has this beautiful metaphor for this. Most people are like dandelions. They're resilient, they can grow pretty much anywhere, right? A perfect garden, a crack in the sidewalk, they're fine. But you're an orchid. And if you put an orchid in a harsh, loud, chaotic, or toxic environment, it's going to struggle. It's going to wither far more than a dandelion would.
But in this is the most incredible part, and it's backed by a real scientific concept called vantage sensitivity. Here's what researchers found. When you take that very same orchid and you put it in the right environment, with the right light, the right care, the right support, it doesn't just survive. It blooms with a complexity and a beauty and a brilliance that the dandelion could never, ever hope to achieve.
So what does this actually mean for you in your real life? It means you have to build your own greenhouse. And step one is to stop trying to be tougher. Stop trying to change your fundamental biology. Instead, you have to curate your life. Build strong boundaries to protect your energy. Actually saying no to that loud party when you know you're drained. Honor your deep need for silence and downtime. Your sensitivity is a gift. It really is, and it's your job to protect it.
Let's just be crystal clear about the goal here. The goal is not to become a dandelion. It's not about learning to survive in the harsh concrete of the sidewalk. The goal is to fully accept that you are an orchid, and then to go out and build the most beautiful, supportive greenhouse where you are absolutely destined to flourish.
So the next time someone tells you you're too sensitive, or even when that little voice in your own head starts to say it, I want you to just smile to yourself and remember the truth. You do not have a defect. You are not a mistake. You are simply experiencing the world in 8K resolution. And that is a rare, beautiful, and powerful thing. The only question left is, what are you going to do with all that clarity?